Let me give you a piece of advice. If you're gonna steal a lot.
Sir, the police are here.
Police?
Get your hands off me!
Detective, can we talk about this?
Roll up your sleeves. Trust me.
Sharper หนังนีโอนัวทริลเลอร์เฉือนคมจาก Apple TV Plus และ A24 เรื่องราวของกลุ่มคนเหนือเมฆผู้ยอมทำทุกวิถีทางเพื่อเงินทองและอำนาจในเกมแห่งความทะเยอทะยานความโลภราคะและความริษยา
All that work for $1,000.
มีต้นไอเดียมาจากคู่หูนักเขียนบทไบรอัน เกตวูดและอเล็กซานโดร ทานากะหรือไอเดียเด็ดตั้งแต่สมัยที่ทั้งคู่ยังอยู่มหาลัยเมื่อ 15 ปีที่แล้วใช้เวลากว่า 6 อาทิตย์ในการปรุงแต่งเป็นบทภาพยนตร์ที่ขับเคลื่อนเรื่องราวผ่านมุมมองของตัวละครแต่ละตัวตีแผ่สังคมยุคปัจจุบันที่การล่อลวงตบตาและการหักหลังเป็นเรื่องปกติ
You lied to me.
We're all human. Just doing the best we can.
ล้ำลึกจนติดโผภาพยนตร์ไอเดียแหวก The Blacklist และไปเข้าตานักแสดงเจ้าของรางวัลออสการ์อย่างจูเลียนมัวร์หลังจากที่อ่านบทจบเธอถึงกับต้องลงมืออำนวยการสร้างด้วยตัวเองซึ่งก็ถือเป็นการนั่งเก้าอี้โปรดิวเซอร์เป็นครั้งแรก
I really love this and I want to come aboard and I want to play Madeline and let's do it. Let's try to get this going and let's produce it ourselves.
จุดมุ่งหมายของเธอคือการชุบชีวิตหนังพล็อตล้ำทุนกลางสำหรับผู้ใหญ่ที่หาดูไม่ได้ในยุคที่ภาพยนตร์ต้องดำเนินเรื่องรวดเร็วตรงไปตรงมา
It was so wild and fun and entertaining and had such great characters.
Stop. This is what my son does. He plays these games.
จูเลียนยังคว้าตัวเบนจามิน คารอนผู้กำกับซีรีส์มากฝีมือจาก The Crown และ Sherlock มากำกับหนังยาวเป็นเรื่องแรกด้วยความรักในหนังฟิล์มนัวยุค 70 เขาและชาร์ลอตต์ บรูซ คริสเตนเซนผู้กำกับภาพจาก A Quiet Place จึงเลือกถ่ายทำโดยใช้กล้องฟิล์ม 35 มิลลิเมตรเพื่อถ่ายทอดความคลุมเครือของตัวละครและมหานครนิวยอร์กศูนย์กลางระบบทุนนิยมบ้านของเหล่านักธุรกิจผู้ฉวยโอกาสและผู้มีอำนาจจากการช่อฉน
This is a New York story. It's a place where everything is allowed. You can be whoever you want to be. Anything can happen here because it's in New York City.
I just want you all to myself.
นอกจากนั่งแท่นโปรดิวซ์แล้วจูเลียนมัวร์ยังรับบทนำด้วยตัวเองเป็นแมดเดลีน
You like him a little bit.
Of course I like him. He's a billionaire.
สมทบด้วยทีมนักแสดงแถวหน้าตั้งแต่พ่อทหารแขนกล Sebastian Stan รับบทเป็น Max
Max essentially is many different personalities. It's always a bit of a guessing game, reading the script, trying to identify which actually was the real Max.
We're celebrating
What exactly are we celebrating?
Billions of dollars.
Justice Smith จาก Jurassic World รับบทเป็นทอม
Tom is a melancholic type.
That's why we never feel sorry for the mark.
นักแสดงฝีมือน่าจับตา Brianna Middleton รับบทแซนดรา
I would describe her as hopeful, youthful. I think she wants to see the best in people.
Oh, you didn't have to do that today.
I didn't want to leave you hanging.
และนักแสดงเจ้าบทบาทจอห์น ลิธกาวรับบทริชาร์ด
I don't want you to know the story of Sharper. I want you to be completely surprised by Sharper, and I think you will. What are you doing here?
Just wanted to say hi.
Had a good time.
All right, cool. See you around, Dad.
Apple ยังให้โอกาสพวกเราจด Just Do It ได้สัมภาษณ์กับทีมงานนักแสดงและผู้กำกับเบนจามิน คารอนถึงเบื้องหลังการแสดงและการถ่ายทำของ Sharper.
I always assumed my son would inherit all this. He doesn't have the fortitude. He's weak.
Hello guys, I'm Jerry from Just Do It Thailand. สวัสดีครับ
Hi.
Hi, Jerry.
This is a dream come true moment for me. It's like one is the legendary actor, one is the hero I'm always admire. Julianne Moore and Sebastian in the same frame. That is surreal for me. Thank you.
That's very kind of you. Thank you so
much.
I really like you.
I really like you too.
I just watched the film yesterday and it blew me away. I mean, like so many twists and turns. I mean, I couldn't believe who's who and what to believe anymore. Is it real?
How can I be masturbation.
In the film, you guys are so good. You guys are also bibliophiles, right? What about in real life? You guys are book nerds?
Both nerds?
Book nerds.
Book nerds.
Are we both nerds?
I was like,
yeah.
I'm a nerd.
I'm a nerd.
Am I a book nerd? Not necessarily, no. I used to be, but then school kind of ruined that. I don't like being told what to do. And so people telling me what to read kind of killed my love for reading. But then after school, I ended up rereading all these like books that I was supposed to read in school. And I was like, oh, these are actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. But to prepare for Tom, I did do a lot of reading. You know, I read obviously Jane Eyre. I got halfway through Anna Karenina. Mm-hmm. I read the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. I read something else that I can't remember because it was a year ago. And that was that was fun. But it was also hard. It's hard for me to focus on stuff. That's the theme of the day.
No,
it's hard for me to focus.
Focus.
Yeah. What about you? Are you a book nerd?
I used to be. Yeah, I read a lot in middle school and same. Like once high school hit, it was like, oh, I have to read certain things. And it shifted my love of reading a little bit. But I love memoirs. Memoirs are my favorite things to read. Oh,
interesting.
Memoirs are chef's kiss.
You can't cheat on an honest man.
Julianne, over the years, you've been playing remarkable moms. But after I watched the film yesterday, this is not a typical mama for sure.
I don't think there's anything typical about this film. I think that was what attracted me to it. The script was so surprising. And what I liked was that not only was it surprising and well-balanced, but it was about all of these different people and their relationships to one another and what they were trying to gain from one another. Everyone kind of has a reason to be there, and everyone is trying to achieve what they want to achieve through their relationship with someone else. And that to me was really fascinating and also very human. You know, I'm very interested in our relationships to each other and in people and conversations. I think there's nothing I like more than watching people talk to each other. So this movie really delivers that.
What did you tell him?
This time you don't have a metal arm, but I mean your character is as cold and mysterious.
Well, I guess, you know...
Don't talk too much.
Yes, but the thing is that people often in life pretend to be other people, or they're manipulative, or they're giving you an idea of something and they've got another plan behind it. And I think the fun thing here is, as Julianne said, you know, watching people talk, and particularly in this movie, is that that's what was clever about it, was you're really trying to kind of dissect what's being said and what's being done. And the fun part to me about the movie is going to be actually watching it twice, because if you go back and you rewatch it, then you're going to be able to see in the scenes some clues that you might have missed,
right,
and whether something actually means something else. And so that was just really exciting to be part of.
That's a very good point. I like that. Yeah.
$60,000 a month.
For what?
To go out and find opportunity. Make a mark for yourself.
Justice from running away from dinosaurs, being bestie with a Pikachu.
Stop talking! You're a hallucination!
You're a hallucination.
Now to this one, I must say, like, you have a great run, man.
Now it's over.
Okay, well, see ya.
In this film, just tell the audience who haven't known a thing yet, what do you have to deal in this film?
Yeah, no dragons, no Pokemon. In this film, I'm dealing with capitalistic greed. That's the big bad guy. I think the film kind of highlights the ways in which money and power interfere with our relationships. It's interesting. I mean, it's reflective of life, because I find that we are all in pursuit of the same things, but for some reason we can't form meaningful bonds in that pursuit. It's every man for themselves. And I think this film is highlighting how we are all the same pursuit to be individual. How much is you?
Paying them back is not an option.
So what is an option?
I give him money and he runs.
Brianna, this is the first film that you start with this densely packed talent list. I mean, Julianne Moore, John Lithgow, and you, Justice Smith. It's like, what's the first thing that come to mind when you got the role?
Just excitement, and then maybe 2 days later, it was like, oh, okay, how are we gonna do this? Yeah, and just gratitude. I think a role like this is kind of an actor's dream, getting to play very different versions of a human in one movie. It's like a full meal. As scary as it is, it's really, really satisfying to play.
So, remember this morning when you asked me out to dinner?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to...
Oh, no. I I actually wanted to say yes.
Julianne Moore, we saw you on the silver screen crying like literally hundreds of times. And in this one too. And can you share us like the tricks of how can you cry that hard?
I don't know. It's a tough one. You know, it's funny because you're the second person who's asked me that today. I was on a phone call where they asked me that. A lot of it's about trying to put yourself in the situation that your character's in. It's something that you kind of learn how to do. It's something that you have to be relaxed to do, comfortable. I don't know that there's any trick to it, but I do think that experience helps, you know? Metal arms always make me cry.
Yes.
Yeah, his metal arm always makes me cry.
Yeah.
Well,
Whenever I bring it with me. But
yeah.
We were always, I think we had a nice conversation about like crying, I guess, on screen. It's just there's so many variables to the thing. You know, it's like timing and measuring energy and getting to the scene. Even in the morning, for me, at least the night before, I'm thinking about it. Like
we worry.
Yeah.
Hi, sweetheart. How'd you sleep?
Great.
This con artist film would usually take on a fast-paced editing and storytelling, right? But this one doesn't.
Right from the very beginning, there was a sort of a mood and a feeling that I had, and that was something that I talked a lot with my cinematographer Charlotte Bruce Christensen and with Kevin Thomason, my designer, two extraordinary artists, and just about allowing us, the audience, time to spend with these characters and to sit with these characters and sort of to really try and question who they are and what motivates them and to observe their behavior. As a filmmaker, you want to allow the space to do that without having to just drive the narrative forward by fast editing. I think the film naturally has a gravitational pull towards that style and sort of timbre. I think it's also, look at how sort of pervasive cheating has become in our life. It's sort of, you know, it's everywhere now. It's people can sort of go online and they can create profiles of themselves that aren't necessarily true, and I think everything has to be questioned. And I think in this movie, everything has to be questioned.
Is this real?
This is real.
What I believe is the best thing about this film is the cinematography. I mean, I love it that this film is shot on film. What makes celluloid more appealing than the digital file?
I've always wanted to shoot on film, and luckily this is my first feature, and it declared very early on that I think we should shoot this on 35mm. It's for all of the reasons of it was, you know, I wanted the films that I were referencing were all shot on film, and nostalgia for those types of movies. I think the way that light works on the grain of film is something that is very unique to that. You know, I talked about Clute, I talked about how Gordon Willis had lit that film with those sort of long shadows with the light and dark, and I wanted sort of texture and movement in the shadows, and again that was something that I felt that only film could do. I have a romance with film. You know, when I was younger I loved photography and I used to spend hours and hours and hours in a dark room, and the sort of smell of celluloid is really romantic to me, and so I just wanted that, you know, and it was really important, and I'm really glad the finished look of the film is something that I'm really proud of. You know, I think Charlotte did an amazing job. She's someone that has worked in film lots, loves film as much as I do. You know, when I think about New York, I think New York and film feel very closely, they feel like bedfellows. So for all of those reasons, it made sense to shoot on 35mm.
Everything looks so neo-noir. It's so beautiful, man. Like, one of the things I said was to persuade my friend to watch this film is like, man, just the cinematography, man. Like, the shot on film. How can you find a heist film that's shot on film right now, nowadays? No, not you can. And I love it, man. I just watched the whole film and gradually blew me away. It's kind of like a time bomb for me.
That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's really kind to say that. I appreciate that because, you know, we've been living with this for such a long time and it's terrifying to suddenly release it out into the world. But I'm really happy that you responded in the way you did. Thank you.
This is the A24 film, and the cinephiles are gonna go crazy and have a certain level of expectation. What's so special about this film, Sharper, that will intrigue the cinephiles?
So I think, well, look, it's an A24 and Apple movie. For me personally, I think it's a sort of deviously comic thriller that deals with sexual politics, that deals with trust and betrayal, and builds like a poker game where the stakes get higher and higher. I think if you like character-driven movies like Color of Money, like The Sting or The Thomas Crown Affair, I think you'll like this type of movie. I think it leans into those thrillers from the sort of, from the 70s and 80s. I think it has the most amazing cast, and I have to say that, of course, but we've got Julianne Moore, we've got John Lithgow, we've got Sebastian Stan, we've got Justice Smith, and we've got this new, amazing, brilliant star, Brianna Middleton.
I'm going to take $1 billion and aim it in your direction.
It's just a really fun movie. I think it's a throwback to some great kind of thrillers and mystery films, I guess even of the 90s and stuff. It's got like a 70s vibe to it. It's beautifully shot. We were able to shoot it on film. There's all these great frames and there's a great soundtrack to it. It's a fun movie.
It's so enjoyable.
Yeah, and there's a whole new twist at the end, so.
It's worth watching. It really is.
I highly suggest going into this film not knowing anything because that's how I consumed the script, and it blew me away, and it obviously captivated me and that I wanted to do the movie. But I want everyone to have that same experience that I had because it really is exhilarating, and if you just kind of sit back and let it take you, you won't be disappointed.
I feel like we're in a Marvel film. We can't talk about anything because it will spoil all the stuff. But the movie is great, guys. I think the audience will love it. It's a new type of con artist film, and it will be showing up at the awarding stage somehow. And I wish you guys to do that.
You cause your mother anguish, and I will not have it.
She wants me gone.
How do you think it's been?
Not well.
Sharper 17 กุมภาพันธ์ที่ Apple TV Plus เท่านั้น
Thank you, guys. It's such a good interview. Thank you for your time. I hope we meet each other in person someday.
I do too. Okay, bye.
I hope
Bye-bye.
so. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you.
Thank you.
ก่อนจากกันไปบอกพวกเราหน่อยครับว่าหนังเฉือนคมเรื่องไหนคือเรื่องโปรดของคุณถ้าคุณรักภาพยนตร์ก็อย่าลืมกดซับกดแชร์กดไลค์และกดปุ่มกระดิ่งแจ้งเตือนเอาไว้เพื่อไม่ให้พลาดหลากคอนเทนต์สุด Exclusive เจาะลึกถึงหนังกว่าใครที่เดียวที่จดอ Just Do It พิมพ์ Just It ภาษาอังกฤษส่วนดูภาษาไทย